Imagine structures whose secrets of construction baffle even the most renowned architects of today. In 2010, a famous Japanese engineer spent 3 months studying the stonework of Angkor Wat and left with empty hands, unable to unravel the mystery of the perfect fitting of multi-ton blocks without a single drop of mortar. How could ancient masters, without laser levels or computer modeling, create such astonishingly precise structures? Today, we embark on a journey through the most enigmatic architectural marvels of Asia. From the temples lost in the jungles of Cambodia to the mystical stupas of Borobudur, from the impregnable fortresses of Tibet to the underwater structures off the coast of Japan. Each stone of these ancient monuments holds secrets that remain unexplained even from the vantage point of the 21st century. Prepare to immerse yourself in a world where scientific facts intertwine with legends, and each answer spawns a dozen new questions. What were the ancient builders trying to convey to us through their magnificent creations? And why have many of these knowledge been lost over the centuries? Leaving the enigmatic temples of Southeast Asia behind, we cannot help but turn our gaze to, perhaps, the most colossal and mysterious structure of the entire Asian continent, the Great Wall of China. This monumental creation of human hands stretches for 21,000 kilometers across mountains, deserts, and plains, like a stone dragon guarding an ancient empire. But even this impressive figure may be just the tip of the iceberg. Some researchers believe that many sections of the wall are still hidden beneath layers of earth and dense vegetation, waiting to be discovered. How could a civilization without modern technology build such a monumental structure? Estimates suggest that more than 1 million people were involved in its construction, many of whom died from exhaustion and were buried directly at the base of the wall. Local legends tell that every third stone of the wall is soaked in human blood. Is this not what gives the wall its mystical power? In 2012, a group of archaeologists discovered in one of the oldest sections of the wall, dating back to the 3rd century BC, strange ceramic pipes built into the structure. When strong winds pass through certain sections of the wall, these pipes emit a long, almost human-like moan, hence the legend of the singing sentinel. Local residents claim that during a full moon, one can hear ancient melodies echoing from the wall, warnings of approaching dangers or the lament of the fallen builders. But the Great Wall is not just a repository of dark secrets. In 2015, restorers found between the stones of the eastern section of the wall hundreds of small bamboo scrolls with love letters. These touching letters, dating back to the 14th century, were written by the wives of the builders and placed in the gaps between the blocks, in the hope that their words of love and support would reach their husbands working far from home. Remarkably, many of these letters have remained virtually untouched by time, as if the wall itself protected these testimonies of human emotions. It is also worth noting that the Great Wall of China is not just a defensive structure, but also a complex communication system. Along its entire length, there were signal towers from which messages were transmitted over vast distances using fire, smoke, and special sound signals. It was this need for rapid signal transmission that led to the invention of the earliest primitive fireworks, which later became an integral part of Chinese culture. Can we consider it a coincidence that ancient samples of gunpowder were discovered precisely along the line of the Great Wall? Or was it part of some grand plan of which we are still unaware? With each passing year, archaeologists uncover new sections of the wall and find artifacts that change our understanding of its history and purpose. In 2019, using LiDAR scanning, underground tunnels were discovered running parallel to certain sections of the wall. What were they for? Were they secret escape routes or repositories for treasures and ancient knowledge? And how many more secrets does this stone colossus, silently observing the passage of epochs and civilizations, still hold? The Great Wall of China remains one of the most mysterious architectural wonders of our planet, a testament to incredible engineering genius and human endurance, but also a reminder of how much we still do not know about our own past. If the Great Wall of China impresses with its scale, then another wonder of antiquity captivates with its majestic perfection and mysterious layout. Hidden in the emerald jungles of Cambodia, Angkor Wat stands as a silent testament to a lost empire, a stone symphony frozen in time. This colossal temple complex is so vast that it became the first religious structure visible from space, a mysterious pattern of 5 lotus-shaped towers reflected in the mirror-like waters of the surrounding canals. When the first European explorers in the 19th century pushed through the impenetrable thickets and saw these magnificent ruins, they could not believe that such perfection could have been created by human hands. This place was built by titans or perhaps gods, wrote French naturalist Henri Mouhot in his diary. And indeed, how else to explain that more than 5 million tons of sandstone were quarried from mines located 37 kilometers from the temple? How were these multi-ton blocks transported through dense jungles and swamps? Even more astonishing is that the stones were fitted together with such precision that not even a knife blade could be inserted between them. Local legends claim that builders used a special mortar made of milk and egg whites, which bound the stones more securely than modern cement. Modern chemical analyses have indeed found traces of organic compounds between the stone blocks, but the exact composition of this ancient superglue remains a mystery. The walls of Angkor Wat are adorned with more than 3,000 exquisite bas-reliefs of celestial dancers, the apsaras, each unique with its own facial features and pose. Their enigmatic smiles, reminiscent of the Mona Lisa, seem to hold the secrets of the ancient Khmer civilization. But perhaps the most extraordinary feature of Angkor Wat is its astronomical orientation. The temple is positioned so that twice a year, during the spring and autumn equinoxes, the sun rises directly over the central tower of the complex, creating a stunning light effect. How did the ancient builders, without modern tools, calculate the sun's position with such accuracy? And for what purpose was this cosmic calendar carved into stone? In 2015, an international group of archaeologists using LiDAR scanning discovered an extensive network of underground tunnels and chambers beneath Angkor Wat, the existence of which was previously unknown. These tunnels, some of which extend to a depth of 15 meters, form a complex system reminiscent of a labyrinth. Several chambers contained strange metallic objects covered with unknown symbols that have not yet been deciphered. What were these underground structures used for? Were they secret sanctuaries for conducting esoteric rituals or shelters in case of war? Or were they repositories for sacred knowledge and artifacts? Of particular interest is the stone slab found in the central tunnel, depicting the night sky with a remarkable accuracy that reflects the constellation positions observed over Angkor 12,000 years ago. This discovery contradicts the widely accepted dating of the temple's construction, placing it in the 12th century AD. Did the builders of Angkor Wat possess astronomical knowledge passed down through generations over thousands of years? Or, as some researchers suggest, is the temple much older than previously thought? Perhaps we are witnessing only the latest iteration of a sacred structure that has been built on the same site for many millennia. Angkor Wat continues to guard its secrets as a silent sentinel of ancient knowledge hidden within its stone labyrinths and bas-reliefs. Although modern science is gradually lifting the veil on some of the mysteries of this extraordinary structure, many questions remain unanswered. What became of the great civilization that created this architectural masterpiece? Why did a thriving city with 1 million inhabitants suddenly abandon it in the 15th century? And what other secrets do the impenetrable jungles of Cambodia hold, slowly consuming the ancient temples and palaces? Transitioning from the lost temples of ancient Khmer hidden in the jungle to another wonder of the world, we find ourselves in the heart of India, where a magnificent mausoleum stands, gleaming like a pearl on the banks of the sacred river Yamuna. The Taj Mahal is not just an architectural masterpiece, it is a poem of love, carved in pristine white marble, a silent symphony of emotions, frozen in stone for eternity. When the rays of the rising sun touch its domes, or when the full moon envelops it in a silver glow, the Taj Mahal seems to come alive, changing its appearance like the moods of a lover's heart. The history of its creation is shrouded in a mysterious fog of legends and tales. It is said that the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan was so overwhelmed with grief after the death of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, who died during the birth of their 14th child, that his hair turned white in a single night. On his deathbed, she took an oath from him to build for her a tomb that would be unparalleled in the world. And the emperor kept his word, creating a monument that became a symbol of eternal love, transcending even the boundaries of death. But at what cost was this masterpiece built? 22,000 workers and craftsmen from various parts of Asia labored for more than 20 years to bring the emperor's grand vision to life. The pristine white marble was transported from quarries in Rajasthan, 300 kilometers from the construction site. A special system of wooden platforms and elephants was created to transport the multi-ton blocks along a specially constructed road. 28 different types of precious and semi-precious stones, turquoise from Tibet, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, carnelian from Arabia, malachite from Russia, were used to inlay the walls of the mausoleum, creating exquisite floral patterns that seem to come alive under the skilled hands of the craftsmen. But behind this beauty lies a dark secret. According to ancient legends, after the completion of the construction, Shah Jahan ordered the hands of the chief architect Ustad Ahmad Lahori to be cut off and all the craftsmen to be blinded, so that they would never be able to create anything like it again. Whether this is true or a myth is unknown, but this legend adds a sinister hue to the history of the Taj Mahal. Observant visitors notice a peculiar feature in the architecture of the mausoleum, a subtle asymmetry in the arrangement of the elements. According to Sufi beliefs, only Allah can create perfection, and therefore, there should be a small imperfection in every human creation. But what if this imperfection was intentional? Some researchers believe that the architects deliberately created an optical illusion. The Taj Mahal appears enormous when viewed from the main gates, but as one approaches, it seems to shrink, as if slipping away like a mirage in the desert. How did they achieve such an effect without modern knowledge of optics? The interior of the mausoleum also presents a mystery. During a full moon, when the moonlight penetrates through the intricate marble latticework, thousands of inlaid precious stones begin to shimmer with a mysterious light, creating the impression that the walls of the tomb are covered with stars. The effect is so stunning that some visitors describe it as a mystical experience, transcending simple aesthetic perception. Could the builders of the Taj Mahal have known about some special properties of stones and their interaction with moonlight? No less astonishing is the engineering genius embodied in the construction of the mausoleum. The foundation of the Taj Mahal consists of a complex system of wooden piles, submerged in wells filled with river sand. This ingenious mechanism allows the building to float slightly during earthquakes, dispersing seismic energy instead of resisting it. How could engineers of the 17th century develop such a perfect anti-seismic system? Did they possess knowledge that has been lost to modern civilization? In 2010, a group of archaeologists discovered a series of underground chambers beneath the mausoleum, the existence of which was previously unknown. In one of them, a strange mechanism resembling an astrolabe was found, but with additional elements whose purpose remains a mystery. Is this device related to the astronomical orientation of the building? And why is the mausoleum positioned in such a way that on the day of the summer solstice, the shadow of its dome points exactly to the place of Mumtaz Mahal's burial? The Taj Mahal continues to keep its secrets as a silent witness to great love and human genius. Although millions of tourists annually touch its marble walls, the true essence of this mysterious structure may never be fully revealed. What else lies hidden behind the pristine white facade of this wonder of the world? What secrets did its creators take with them? And is it really just a tomb, or, as some researchers suggest, a grand astronomical instrument disguised as a tomb? If the Taj Mahal embodies the history of a great love, then in the southern part of India, in the ancient city of Madurai, stands a temple dedicated to the divine union, which captivates the imagination with its fantastical beauty and grandeur. The Meenakshi Temple is not just a religious structure, it is a city within a city, a kaleidoscope of divine images frozen in stone and paint. When one first sees its 14 gopurams, towering gateways reaching up to 60 meters in height, it seems that one is not looking at a human creation, but a manifestation of the ancient gods' fantasy. Every centimeter of these colossal pyramidal structures is adorned with thousands of sculptures of Hindu deities, mythical creatures, epic heroes, and dancers, painted in vibrant colors, from fiery red to lapis lazuli blue, from emerald green to sunlit yellow. In the rays of the setting sun, the temple seems to burst into all the colors of the rainbow, and during the rainy season, when the humid air is filled with the aromas of spices and flowers, it seems as if the sculptures begin to breathe and move. Local residents tell a fascinating legend. Apparently, under the full moon, when the silver light of the moon bathes the ancient stones of the temple. The sculptures of the deities come to life and descend to the earth to stroll through the night streets of Madurai. In the morning, they return to their places, but sometimes they get confused and occupy other niches, causing the number and arrangement of the statues in the temple to constantly change. Scholars, of course, explain this legend by saying that over the centuries, some sculptures were indeed moved from place to place during renovations, but can a scientific explanation compare to the poetic charm of the ancient tale? Inside the temple complex, which occupies an area of 6 hectares, there are numerous shrines, galleries, and halls, but the most mysterious of them is the Thousand-Pillar Hall. In reality, how did the ancient masters, without modern knowledge of acoustics, create such a wonder? Some reason which can perhaps the temple according wander there it is but what if some reason a coin and what perhaps and what the Mina? If the temple of Meenakshi enchants with its riot of colors and forms, then a completely different feeling takes hold of the traveler when he first sees the pink rocks of Petra, this mysterious city lost among the desert mountains of Jordan. Petra is a city that was not built, but carved out of stone, as if giant sculptors had decided to create an entire civilization with a single stroke of a giant chisel. When Swiss researcher Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, disguised as an Arab sheikh, first entered this lost world in 1812, he could not believe his eyes. Before him stood an entire city, hidden from the eyes of outsiders for centuries, a city about which only vague legends were told. The path to Petra lies through the narrow Sikh Gorge, whose walls rise to 77 meters, almost merging above and leaving only a narrow strip of sky. This winding corridor, 1.5 kilometers long, seems to have been created by nature itself to protect the ancient city from unwanted visitors. As you pass through it, it seems that the rocks themselves are watching you, guarding their 1,000-year-old secrets. And suddenly, on a bend, in a narrow gap between the rocks, an overwhelming sight appears. The facade of Al-Hazni, the treasury, carved directly into the pink rock. The 40-meter facade with columns, statues, and intricate carvings seems like a mirage, impossible in this realm of bare rock. But what is most astonishing about Petra is the building technique that still puzzles modern engineers. The Nabateans, the ancient people who created this city, did not build their structures from the bottom up, as is usually done. They carved them from the top down, starting with the roof and gradually moving down to the base. How did they determine the proportions? How did they avoid mistakes, since any incorrect blow of the chisel could ruin the entire work? These structures have no foundations in the usual sense. They are an integral part of the rock from which they were carved. Perhaps it is because of this that Petra has survived numerous earthquakes that destroyed ordinary cities in this seismically active region. But perhaps the most incredible mystery of Petra is its water supply. How could an entire civilization thrive in the middle of a waterless desert, where the annual rainfall does not exceed 15 centimeters? The Nabateans created such a perfect system for collecting and storing water that they were able to not only meet the needs of a city with a population of 30,000 people, but also maintain luxurious gardens and fountains. They carved a complex network of channels, cisterns, and dams into the rocks, which collected every drop of precious water during rare rains and floods. This system was so effective that it allowed for a constant water supply throughout the year. Modern engineers studying this system recognize that it was designed with such perfection that it was beyond the capabilities of European cities until the 19th century. How did the Nabateans, without modern knowledge of hydrology and mathematics, create such a miracle of engineering? And why did this prosperous city suddenly abandon its inhabitants? Some researchers believe that the cause was a powerful earthquake, while others point to a change in trade routes that deprived the Nabateans of their main source of income. But there is also a more mysterious version. According to ancient legends, a sacred artifact of incredible power was hidden in the depths of Petra, and when it was moved to another place, the city lost its mystical significance and was doomed to oblivion. What was this artifact? Some enthusiasts link it to the biblical Ark of the Covenant, while others associate it with the mysterious treasures that the Nabateans could have obtained from the Egyptians or Babylonians. But the truth, like many of Petra's mysteries, is hidden under the layers of centuries and sand, which slowly but inexorably bury this amazing city carved into stone. And each time archaeologists uncover another building or temple, they find new mysteries, new questions, to which they may never find answers. If the mysteries of Petra are hidden in its incredible architecture carved into the rocks, then a completely different wonder of antiquity awaits the traveler on the island of Java in Indonesia. The Borobudur Temple, a colossal stone labyrinth of wisdom, rising among emerald rice fields and surrounded by majestic volcanoes. This is not just a temple, it is a grand three-dimensional mandala, a material embodiment of Buddhist cosmology, frozen in stone as a model of the universe. What is striking is not only the scale of this structure, 9 tiers ascending to the heavens, more than 2 million stone blocks with a total weight of 3.5 million tons, but also the incredible engineering skill of its creators. This entire colossal complex was built between 750 and 850 AD without the use of cement or any binding agents. The stone blocks are perfectly fitted together, forming a structure that has withstood centuries of earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tropical rains. But how did the ancient masters achieve such precision? What tools did they use to work with andesite, one of the hardest stones on the planet? Even with modern diamond saws and laser measuring devices, contemporary stonemasons admit they could not achieve such perfect fitting. From above, Borobudur appears as a giant lotus flower, a symbol of purity in Buddhist tradition. But it is also a vast three-dimensional mandala, a sacred diagram reflecting the structure of the universe. The 6 lower square tiers symbolize the world of desires and passions, the 3 upper circular tiers symbolize the world of forms, and the stupa crowning the temple represents the world without forms, the highest point of the spiritual path. But what is most astonishing are the reliefs covering the walls of the temple galleries. 2,672 stone panels sequentially tell the story of the spiritual path of Buddha and the foundations of his teachings. This is a kind of stone textbook, stretching 5 kilometers if all the panels were laid out in a line. A pilgrim, circumambulating the temple clockwise from tier to tier, did not just perform a ritual circumambulation, but passed through a real initiatory quest, gradually understanding more complex aspects of Buddhist philosophy. But perhaps the most extraordinary mystery of Borobudur is its disappearance from historical memory. This colossal monument, on the construction of which took no less than 75 years, and the labor of thousands of workers, was completely forgotten for several centuries. After the 10th century AD, there is not a single mention of it in historical chronicles. How could it happen that the greatest Buddhist temple in the world simply disappeared from people's memory? Scholars suggest that the cause was the eruption of the nearby volcano Merapi, which buried the temple under a thick layer of ash, after which it was quickly swallowed by tropical jungles. But even this does not explain the complete oblivion. Local residents knew about the existence of the ruins, but considered them a cursed place, avoiding visiting the Hill of Many Buddhas. Only in 1814, when the British governor of Java, Thomas Stamford Raffles, heard legends about a mysterious structure hidden in the jungle, did he organize an expedition that discovered the top of the temple sticking out of the ground and vegetation. It took another century and a half and several large-scale restorations to completely free Borobudur from the jungle's grip and restore its former glory. But even now, many aspects of this extraordinary structure remain a mystery. For example, why is the base of the temple asymmetrical and not in the form of a perfect square, but a slightly distorted quadrilateral? Is this a coincidence or an intentional architectural feature with deep symbolic meaning? Why are some Buddha statues unfinished, although the temple as a whole was completed? And most importantly, what other secrets does this stone labyrinth of wisdom hide, having endured centuries under the cover of volcanic ash and lush tropical vegetation? This is not the only mystery that has captivated us since ancient times. Traveling through the enigmatic corners of the world, we find ourselves in the heart of Tibet, where, at an altitude of over 3,700 meters above sea level, stands the magnificent Potala Palace, a true city in the clouds. Its pristine white walls, gleaming in the sun, resemble a giant fortress, embodying the spiritual power and political authority of Tibetan leaders. Legend has it that the first site for this grand structure was chosen by the Dalai Lama himself, who, according to the tale, saw a sacred lotus flower blooming among the clouds in a dream. and decided that this was where the residence for the embodiment of Buddhist teachings should be built. But how could ancient craftsmen construct such a magnificent palace in the harsh conditions of high altitude, where the air is thin and the climate is severe? The construction of the Potala was indeed a feat of engineering prowess. Without the aid of modern technologies and machinery, such as cranes and excavators, the workers used only simple tools and methods. According to one version, they used light stones, which, according to monastic beliefs, became so through prayers and blessings, allowing them to lift enormous blocks to great heights. But how is this possible in reality? Scientific research shows that the stones could indeed have been made lighter by using wooden blocks and ropes, creating a system of lifting that allowed heavy stone blocks to be raised to such inaccessible heights. Inside the palace, hidden treasures await. Numerous halls adorned with vibrant frescoes, gilded statues, and ancient artifacts. Every corner of the Potala is imbued with the spirit of history and mysticism, and its walls hold thousands of prayers and blessings uttered by monks over the centuries. The halls and corridors, seemingly endless, inspire awe and admiration. The incomparable beauty of the interiors, where every detail is meticulously planned, creates an atmosphere of sanctity and tranquility. But how was such harmony and grandeur maintained over many centuries when nature itself can be so harsh? How did the palace, standing at the edge of the world, survive in the face of constant earthquakes and climate changes? Researchers suggest that the unique construction and use of natural materials helped it withstand the test of time. However, many questions remain. What secrets does the Potala hide? Why are some halls closed to visitors and researchers? What else might be discovered in the depths of this city in the clouds, which, like a sentinel, watches over the world from its height? The mysteries of the Potala, like many other ancient enigmas, continue to captivate and inspire those who seek answers to the eternal questions about our past. After all, how much more is hidden from the eyes of modern man, waiting for its time to be revealed and understood? Moving away from the grandeur of Potala, we find ourselves in another mysterious place, the Forbidden City at the heart of Beijing, where behind purple walls lie imperial secrets and ancient legends. This magnificent palace complex, built in the early 15th century, is not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a symbol of absolute power of Chinese emperors. Warmed by the sun's rays, it stretches over more than 30 hectares, and within its walls are more than 9,000 rooms, each holding its own secrets and stories. Access to this mysterious world was strictly limited. Only the chosen few could cross its threshold. But what lies behind these massive purple walls, symbolizing imperial power and dignity? Why were even commoners not allowed to enter these sacred precincts? Legend has it that every architectural element in the Forbidden City has a special significance. For example, there are 9 nails on the gates, representing the highest heavenly forces and eternity. This extraordinary palace, consisting of countless halls, pavilions, and gardens, breathes history. Within its walls, one can find not only magnificent works of art, but also references to hidden passages leading to secluded places where ancient relics and treasures are kept. Some researchers claim that there are still rooms in the Forbidden City that no one knows about, containing answers to many questions about the Ming and Qing dynasties. How did the masters of the past create such a vast and complex complex while preserving every detail and symbol? Questions multiply, and every corner of the palace hides a mystery. Walls adorned with dragons, symbols of imperial power, and elegant roofs, giving the building a majestic appearance, tell the story of the multi-century history of imperial China. But what happened to those who once lived and ruled here? Many left their mark on history, but the mysteries of their lives remain unsolved. How did they manage to rule such a vast country from these walls, and why is the Forbidden City still shrouded in an aura of mystery? Researchers and historians continue to decipher this enigma, but each new fact only adds to the fog and intrigue. So, what truth is hidden behind these purple walls? What other secrets await discovery in this imperial labyrinth? With each new investigation, some aspects become clear, but the main mystery remains unsolved. How much more unknown is hidden in the heart of China, waiting to be revealed? Leaving the enigmatic walls of the Forbidden City, we find ourselves before the majestic Buddha statue in Lashan, carved into the rock and gazing down at the river Jinsha flowing below. This colossal figure, standing over 30 meters tall, commands attention with its grandeur and majesty. How could such a massive statue remain unnoticed among the picturesque landscapes of Chinese nature? Lashan is not just an artistic monument. It is a true treasure trove, holding not only artistic value, but also a deep history of self-sacrifice. Legend has it that the monk Hailun, seeing the raging waters of the river claim the lives of local fishermen, decided to create a statue that could calm the river and protect the people. He dedicated all his strength and health to complete this monumental project, which took over 20 years. What a courageous act. This act of self-sacrifice became a symbol not only of devotion, but also of hope for the region's inhabitants. However, beyond its spiritual significance, the Buddha statue in Lashan has a unique hydrological function. It was designed not only to impress with its appearance, but also to address the challenges posed by nature. Clever ancient architects created a sophisticated drainage system, where the Buddha's hair serves as gutters, channeling excess water away and protecting the statue from destruction. How could human consciousness in those distant times combine art and engineering with such harmony? Every element of the statue is filled with deep symbolism, and its enormous size makes one ponder how many secrets such structures might hold. But what happened to monk Hailun after completing his work? How did his sacrifice affect the lives of the local people? The story of his self-sacrifice is passed down through generations, but many details remain unclear. Where did this inspiring idea come from, and how did it become so deeply rooted in the culture? The Buddha statue in Lashan not only guards the riverbanks, but also continues to be a source of inspiration for all who come to see it. Its majestic gaze and serenity seem to tell us that life is not just about struggle, but also about serving others. But one question remains. How many more such secrets are hidden within the depths of Chinese soil, waiting to be revealed? How many more stories of self-sacrifice and wisdom, like those found in Lashan, await the world's discovery? With each new look at this statue, one wonders, how much more lies beyond our perception? Moving from the majestic Buddha statue in Lashan, we find ourselves in the heart of Cambodia, where the mysterious Bayon Temple is hidden, one of the most captivating wonders of the ancient world. This temple seems to hold the breath of a bygone era and hides many secrets that remain unsolved to this day. Hundreds of smiling stone faces, carved from granite, gaze down at us from the heights of the magnificent towers, and each one appears to whisper its own story. But what lies behind these enigmatic smiles? Modern scholars have proposed several theories about the symbolism of these stone heads. Some believe they are portraits of King Jayavarman VII, the creator of the temple, who wanted to immortalize his face in history. Others suggest that the smiling faces represent the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, a symbol of compassion and wisdom, adding an even deeper spiritual significance to the temple. But what is the true nature of these smiles? Local residents believe that the expressions of the faces change depending on the time of day. They smile wider in the morning and become more serious in the evening. It is as if the stones themselves experience the change of day, reflecting the emotions and feelings that surround them. With each new glance at these mysterious faces, we wonder, what have they really seen over the centuries of their silence? But this is not the only mystery that the Bayon Temple hides. Recent archaeological discoveries have shown that the layout of the temple's towers is connected to an ancient star chart of the Khmer Empire. How could the builders have so accurately aligned the architecture with celestial bodies? This discovery raises many questions about the level of astronomical knowledge possessed by the ancient Khmers. Perhaps the temple served not only religious purposes, but also as an astronomical observatory, allowing residents to observe celestial phenomena and predict the change of seasons. Each stone here is imbued with mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The Bayon Temple is not just an architectural masterpiece. It is a symbol of a lost civilization, filled with unsolved riddles. How many more such mysteries are hidden under the veil of centuries, waiting for their moment to be revealed? Gazing at these smiling stone heads, we once again ponder. What else does the history of Cambodia hold, And how many more secrets await discovery to tell us about the grandeur and mystery of ancient empires? Moving from the enigmatic smiles of the Bayan Temple, we find ourselves in India, where amidst the bustling city of Jaipur, ancient observatories of Jantar Mantar are hidden. These magnificent structures, built in the 18th century, are a remarkable blend of science and art, with massive stone instruments, like guardians of time, preserving knowledge that could rival modern astronomical observatories. Each device here, from the renowned Samrat Yantra, a giant sundial, to the mysterious Jaipur zodiac circle, demonstrates incredible precision in determining time and the positions of celestial bodies. How could ancient Indian scholars possess such knowledge, seemingly unattainable by their contemporaries? It is astonishing that Jantar Mantar served not only scientific purposes, but also as a place where astronomy and astrology, science and mysticism intersected. Perhaps what was on one each how could the builders of these observatories so accurately track the movements of celestial bodies, leaving behind a trail of unsolved mysteries? Perhaps, moving from the observatories, we can turn our attention to the enigmatic artifacts found in the vicinity, which may provide new insights into how ancient civilizations perceived the cosmos and their connection to it. Perhaps these artifacts are not just historical relics, but keys to understanding the great mysteries that still remain hidden from human eyes. How much more information awaits its time to be revealed, and how many secrets do the ancient stars keep in their silence? Each step through the ancient observatories of Jantar Mantar immerses us in a world where science and magic intertwine, creating a space for reflection on what we know about our past and what still awaits discovery. Moving from the mysteries of the Jantar Mantar, we find ourselves on the Philippines, where we encounter the majestic rice terraces of Ifugao, which, like staircases to the sky, were carved by hand into the mountain slopes. These terraces, over 2,000 years old, are not just agricultural lands, but true works of art created by human hands that have interacted with nature for centuries. Massive stone walls, rising and falling along the slopes, create a breathtaking landscape that captivates with its beauty and scale. How did the ancient Ifugao manage to create such a complex system that not only sustainably provides them with food but also harmoniously fits into the surrounding nature? This question has puzzled many researchers trying to unravel the secrets hidden in these terraces. The local people, living in harmony with the earth and nature, pass down their knowledge of farming from generation to generation, without maps or written instructions, relying solely on oral traditions and experience. They know how to properly cultivate the terraces, when to plant rice, and how to maintain the complex ecosystem that consists of many factors. The irrigation system developed by the Ifugao is a true engineering marvel. Channels running through the terraces precisely regulate the flow of water, ensuring the plants receive the necessary amount of moisture. But how did this ancient people, without modern technologies, manage to create such a complex and efficient system? Perhaps their connection to nature and the spirits they revere gave them unique knowledge, allowing them to utilize natural resources to their fullest extent. Every step along these terraces reminds us that here, at the edge of the world, humans and nature coexist in perfect symbiosis. But this is not all the secrets they hold. For centuries, the Ifugao have faced challenges that threatened their way of life, yet they found ways to adapt and preserve their traditions. How could they survive in changing environmental conditions, maintaining their unique cultural practices and knowledge? Inspired by ancient rituals and customs, the local people have created a system where respect for ancestors and the earth forms the basis of their existence. But what happens when these terraces become the focus of tourists and modern technologies? Can the modern world preserve this unique culture and wisdom, or will they fade away like many other ancient knowledge? All these questions make us ponder how many more secrets the Ifugao rice terraces hold, and how many stories remain untold. Perhaps the world is not yet ready to reveal all the secrets that lie dormant in these majestic landscapes, and only time will show how the history of this unique people will unfold. Transitioning from the terraces of Ifugao, we find ourselves in the heart of Myanmar, in the mysterious city of Bagan, which can be truly called a wonder of the ancient world, shrouded in legends and mysteries. Imagine boundless plains where thousands of pagodas and temples stand like guardians of time, keeping their secrets. Each temple tells its own story, and numerous legends about the rulers who built these magnificent structures add an air of mystique to the atmosphere of this place. It is said that one of the kings of Bagan, named Ananda, ordered the construction of one temple per day to demonstrate his devotion to Buddha and achieve eternal life. But how could one person accomplish such an ambitious task? This question continues to puzzle researchers and tourists eager to unravel the mysteries of this ancient city. Archaeological finds in Bagan only fuel the interest in this place. Vivid frescoes, hidden under multiple layers of plaster, reveal scenes from long-gone epochs, full of life and spirituality. But how could these frescoes survive centuries, remaining so vibrant and expressive? The secret of the durability of the ancient building material, which included fruit juice and sticky rice, also inspires awe. How did the ancient builders know about such properties of materials? Perhaps this knowledge came from the gods themselves, or they were simply observant and wise builders who knew how to utilize what nature provided. Each step along the ancient streets of Bagan evokes a sense that time has stopped, and each temple, each pagoda, carries not only architectural, but also spiritual significance. But this is not the only mystery that Bagan holds. The city is also home to numerous enigmatic artifacts and objects that remain unexplained to this day. For example, strange statues depicting various creatures and mysterious inscriptions that cannot be deciphered. What can they tell us about the culture and beliefs of the ancient inhabitants of Bagan? Some researchers suggest that these artifacts may be connected to ancient rituals performed to appease the spirits residing in these places. Others believe they may indicate the existence of previously unknown cultural contacts with other civilizations. But, like many other historical mysteries, the truth remains hidden, like a shadow behind clouds. Bagan continues to be an inexhaustible source of questions and enigmas that make us ponder how many more secrets this ancient city with its thousands of pagodas still holds. How many stories could be told if the walls of the temples could speak? And what other secrets might be waiting to be discovered in the depths of this magnificent land? Questions that we may never find answers to only add to the mystery and allure of this place, leaving room for dreams and the spirit of research. Translation in English. Moving from the enigmas of the Baganda, we find ourselves in one of the most captivating spots on the map of Japan, the Golden Pavilion in Kyoto. This temple, known as Kinkakuji, seems to be carved from a golden dream, reflecting in the tranquil waters of the pond, creating a magical landscape that takes your breath away. Imagine golden walls, sparkling in the sun like precious gems, and inside, a cozy atmosphere where every detail is imbued with the spirit of prosperity and harmony. Built in the 14th century as an aristocratic villa for the shogun Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, its fate has been intertwined with the history of Japan. But how did such splendor transform into a Buddhist temple? After Yoshimitsu's death, his legacy became a symbol of the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. In this place where the beauty of nature and human artistry merge, we can feel the breath of centuries. With each step inside the temple, we encounter a majestic interior where every element, from carvings to paintings, tells of profound philosophical truths. However, the history of Kinkakuji is not devoid of tragedies. The temple has been destroyed several times due to wars and fires, and each restoration has been an act of devotion to Japanese traditions and culture. How does this place manage to retain its essence despite all trials? Perhaps it is because its spirit, like the golden gleam, is impervious to time. Remarkably, even after the devastating fire in 1955, when the temple was burned to the ground, it was restored to its original form, symbolizing resilience and constancy. This place has become not just an architectural masterpiece, but a true reflection of the Japanese soul, where every detail emphasizes the harmony between man and nature. But this is not all. Surrounding Kinkakuji are magnificent gardens filled with the fragrances of blooming cherry blossoms and the sounds of babbling streams. These gardens do not merely adorn the temple. They serve as spaces for contemplation and meditation, becoming an integral part of the entire complex. How can the harmony of nature and architecture inspire the search for deep meanings and self-understanding? Researchers and travelers visiting this sacred corner cannot help but ask, what wisdom did the ancient builders carry with them creating such splendor? Perhaps in their hands was a power that could indicate the importance of preserving beauty and spirituality in our ever-changing world. Yet, despite the clarity and grandeur of Kinkakuji, many questions remain unanswered. For example, what was the true intention of the shogun when he turned his villa into a Buddhist temple? What secrets are hidden beneath the golden layers, and what can they reveal about that time? This place continues to inspire and intrigue, leaving behind a trail of riddles and unsolved mysteries that may one day be revealed to those who seek answers. And perhaps such wonders await discovery in other corners of the world, preserving invisible threads that connect the past and the future. Moving from the magic of Kinkakuji, we find ourselves in the heart of antiquity, at the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, two of the largest cities of a highly advanced civilization in the Indus Valley. These places, like silent witnesses, hold many secrets left by people who seem to have reached the pinnacle of progress but then vanished, as if dissolved into thin air. Imagine streets paved with perfectly fitted bricks and buildings designed with advanced technologies for their time, a water supply and sewage system that even today impresses modern engineers. How could such achievements have been created in the 3rd millennium BC? Is this not a testament to genius and skill? The urban planning of Mohenjo-Daro is astonishing. Each building, each street was meticulously planned, creating perfect symmetry and functionality. Yet, amidst the grandeur of these ruins, lies a mystery that remains unexplained. How could such an advanced civilization disappear, leaving behind only silent stones and tangled legends? Researchers propose numerous theories, from climate change to invasions, but none of them can fully explain how such a highly organized culture could have vanished. In Mohenjo-Daro, archaeologists find not only the remains of houses and streets, but also mysterious symbols that may be a form of writing left for posterity. But what do they mean? Some suggest they could be religious symbols, while others believe they might contain knowledge lost to time. But surprisingly, no one has been able to decipher these enigmatic symbols. Could they be the key to understanding not only the disappearance of this civilization, but also a deeper truth about the nature of humanity and its place in the world? But this is not all. Moving to Harappa, we encounter another mystery. This city, though smaller in size, is no less enigmatic. Its ruins also bear the traces of a complex infrastructure, including warehouses that, according to scholars, were used for storing grain and other resources. But what happened to these supplies? Why didn't they help the residents survive? How could something so obvious and necessary for survival have been insufficient? Perhaps the answer lies in the fact that some unknown catastrophe struck the culture, leading to its decline. Some researchers suggest it could have been a natural disaster, such as a flood or a change in the river's course, forcing people to abandon their homes. But whatever the case, clear evidence of what happened to the inhabitants of these cities is still lacking. It seems that history itself is interrupted, leaving us in suspense, waiting for answers that may never come. And once again, we ask, can modern science, using new technologies such as DNA analysis or ground-penetrating radar, shed light on this ancient mystery? How many more unsolved enigmas lie hidden beneath layers of earth, waiting to be revealed? These magnificent ruins remind us that history is not only about knowledge, but also about questions that are hard to answer. Perhaps such mysteries await discovery in other corners of the world, hiding invisible threads that connect the past and the future. As we conclude our journey through 15 remarkable architectural wonders of Asia, we realize that these magnificent structures are not merely stones carved by human hands, but living testaments to genius, faith, and the extraordinary capabilities of ancient civilizations. Each of these sites is like a portal through time, revealing not only the grandeur of architectural skill, but also the profound mysteries that continue to captivate researchers and history enthusiasts. We have seen how these monuments, despite the passage of centuries, retain their beauty and scale, inspiring awe and wonder. How could builders, with only primitive tools, create such monumental structures that continue to astound us today? Their secrets remain unsolved, like cryptic messages from a distant past that we cannot decipher. But perhaps it is this very mystery that makes them even more alluring. These architectural masterpieces inspire us to delve deeper into the history and culture of Asia. They invite us to embark on journeys to touch their grandeur and feel the spirit of the time when they were built. We hope you will share your impressions and favorite Asian architectural landmarks in the comments, for each of your words is a part of a larger conversation about our shared heritage. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to continue discovering the wonders of our planet and the mysteries of the past. We believe that encountering these ancient structures enriches our perspective on human history, reminding us of the eternal value of cultural heritage. These magnificent monuments serve as a source of inspiration for future generations, and their secrets, though not yet revealed, continue to beckon us into a world where history and myth intertwine. How many more secrets lie hidden within the depths of our planet waiting to be uncovered?